Now we're going to cook you some empanadas. Empanadas are one of my favourite things. They're perfect as a little snack. I sometimes even have them for dinner. With these ones, we're going to do some green olives and some egg. You might think egg's a little strange, but the texture of egg when it's hard boiled really works well in this recipe. So we've got one onion chopped. We're going to saute that off. We just want to soften these onions down. So as we cook the onions, they start to get a sweeter flavour, which is what we're looking for here. If you keep the onions a bit too raw, they'll have that bitterness that an onion has. And while we're getting this cooked, we're going to get some of our garnish ready for the empanada mix. We've got 2 hard-boiled eggs. I'm just going to give these a rough chop. See our onions have really started to soften down here. A little bit of colour, a little bit of caramelisation on them just helps to add a bit more depth of flavour. So our mince is going in. Just break it down. Diced green capsicums. So as this mince warms through, it'll become really easy to break down. We want it to be nice and finely crumbed down so that our mix is easy to manage when we're filling out empanadas. So I've got some green olives here. I'm going to give these a chop. So I find it best to do 1 olive at a time. I actually find it a little bit quicker. So our mince is nearly cooked through here. Let's start getting our spices in. And this is going to dry up the pan a little bit. So after we get this in, cook them out just a little bit to release some of the fragrance, and then we're going to get our stock in there. So we've got some paprika, some cumin, cinnamon, one of my favourites, and some chilli. We're going to get this pan on as high as it goes. You can really smell the aromas coming out of this now. All those spices are making a wonderful combination in there. So things are starting to catch on the bottom of the pan now. So I know we've got enough heat in there. And I can really start to feel the chilli. You kind of feel it on the back of your throat if you get it to the right degree. Got some low salt beef stock. So leave this on high heat. I'm going to bring it back up as fast as we can and then reduce it down. So our stock's really reduced down now. We're going to get the heat off. We're going to get our final ingredients in there. We're going to move it to the fridge just to cool down. So eggs, our chopped green olives, and lastly, for a little bit of sweetness to counteract all that chilli and spices that we've got in there, we've got some sultanas that have just been roughly chopped down. Give it a little seasoning. Now we're going to move this into a bowl, put it in the fridge, let it cool down, and we'll come back and I'll tell you a story about empanadas. So our mix has cooled down. We've got some short crust pastry here, just the pre-made store-bought stuff. If you've got the time, make it yourself. So we're going to cut using a large ring cutter. If you don't have a large ring cutter, you can use a small saucer and just use a knife and follow it around the edge of the saucer. Spread these out so we can divide our mixture over them all. And now I did promise you a little story, didn't I? Empanada comes from the verb empanar, which means to coat or to wrap in bread. So in this case, they're known as an Argentinian dish, but they're actually originated in Spain. So maybe when the Spanish raided South America, they left something good behind. So a tablespoon on each. If you reckon you can squeeze a bit more in there, by all means do it. I've left a good bit of space on the top of the pastry here so that I can fold it over, and I'll show you how we crimp it. Just a little bit of water around the edge. Fold this over, just give the pastry just a little stretch just to give you a bit of room. Then press down at the top and then work your way down the side and work your way around the other side. So this pastry's a little bit above fridge temperature. It's probably room temperature, which just allows you to stretch it a little bit. So just give it a little bit of stretch and then roll, stretch, roll, stretch and roll, all the way around. And you're left with a little bit at the end there, just tuck it under. And then move on to the next one. So on to our last one. Don't worry too much about how pretty this looks. It's about creating a nice seal there so nothing comes out. And then you give them a brush with butter. If you prefer, you can fry these, but a little bit healthier option. Give them a brush with butter. I'm going to bake these in the oven. I'll leave just a little bit of air in there. This is a cold mix, so as it heats up, it's going to expand a little bit. If you haven't left enough room in there, it's going to expand and explode, so the mix will start to leak out of the tray. Okay, off to the oven. Okay, our empanadas have been in for about 25 minutes. Nice good colour on them, and nice and crusty, so they should be delicious. Now, I reckon these would make a great snack, but I'd even eat them for dinner with a nice Pinot.